So I'm joined by a rare appearance of Jennifer. First of all, our account is back up and healthy. The issues were removed, and so I wanted to first say that it's a big relief. And secondly, we wanted to thank a lot of people. We wanted to talk about why it happened and what we learned from it.
Yeah, so this is a product that we developed last year. So Brandon is one that have the product idea and from like social media, and then we thinking about, okay, this is a good idea, and then we did some um, patent research and trademark research and
Keyword research.
keyword research, and make sure um, we're doing everything right, right?
Right. Well, this is what we teach everyone to do,
Yeah,
right? Mm-hmm.
exactly. But I think the mistake that we made is we didn't follow through with our team in China, right? When they designed the package.
Right.
Yeah.
We changed the product up a little bit to make it
Mm-hmm.
our own. We make sure we're not infringing on any intellectual property because the trademark was actually denied for the original, like, I guess, maker of this game that was advertising and set like the bestseller of the game. And our team still used those words on the packaging the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and in the instructions and on the detail page. Now this bestseller complained last November, right before right before Black Friday, and we won the case because they didn't have a proper trademark. It was the
Mm-hmm.
trademark was denied,
Mm-hmm.
protecting those words. We still decided to out of caution. Like I got on a call with the rights owner, or like the not rights owner, but with the original maker or the bestseller of this game. And I told him, I said, it's just, we're making a similar game. Like I said before, it'd be no different than two companies making a T-ball set or whatever. But what I'll do is, you know, I don't have to, but what I'll do is I'll take the words off of the packaging. I'm going to sell through the inventory we have. I'll take the words off the packaging and I'll stop using it in the listing as well. And we immediately did that. So that conversation happened in January. And by February, I was still in China. By February, we had the new packaging designed and all new orders shipped with the new packaging, where it didn't have the name that they use, which is not protected. And so then a week before Prime Day, they filed again and said we were selling counterfeit goods this time, not a trademark infringement, but we were counterfeiting our own products. So somehow it was very difficult for us to explain to Amazon, and that's one of the lessons learned. Is like we probably have to put together some content for our community around what the different departments are within Amazon and what their limitations and powers are, and then how you're supposed to communicate with each of them, because that was a very valuable lesson for us in this process, was understanding who owns what type of claim
Mm-hmm.
and how to communicate with them, because it wasn't the same process as the first time where we clearly could just point in something as obvious as we're not infringing on ourselves was not a good answer, right? So we kept submitting different things. So for the over the course of a few weeks, we were, fighting this thing, and eventually it shut our account down, even though we were in the right. So that's kind of what happened. So what can we do differently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think another things we probably need to mention is kind of you do have a conversation with the orange the the one who filed the complaint for
Yeah,
us, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I think what their motivation is they're being very upset because they're spending a lot of like marketing money in social media,
Mm-hmm.
and but currently what the buyers do is they just like search things from everywhere and then on Amazon, and we are the one that selling very similar product. Now we're ranking the best. I think the reason why they're so upset because they feel like we are taking their credits,
Mm-hmm.
their marketing credits, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
um,
specifically mentioned that, like
yeah,
riding his
exactly.
coattails.
So I think that is
Yeah.
the initial motivation.
Mm-hmm.
for the people who's filing the complaint, and which give us some thought about, okay, so if we want to do some social media marketing, and then we have to think about, and people might buy from other
Mm-hmm.
sellers as well, right? So unless you have
Yeah.
direct link and for
But
the social
so
media.
we know that attribution happens, right?
Yeah.
Like we want to solve that within Data Dive. You spend $1,000 on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for lift on Amazon and on other channels, right? So
Yeah.
you're
Or you
the
lift your competitors
yeah,
product.
you definitely lift your competitors because people go and search on Amazon. Even on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, we know that it's maybe 3 to 1 from social media. Like we hear this from sellers. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're constantly asking, what is your lift on Amazon from the efforts done somewhere else? And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are just comfortable with Prime and they go search on Amazon. And so we're just good at Amazon SEO. So it upset him that we weren't spending the same effort or money on those other channels, and we were still benefiting from it.
Mm-hmm.
He still outsells us on Amazon though, quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we were taking quite a bit of the revenue of this market,
Yeah.
um, which is what we teach people to do, right? Like
Yeah.
find high opportunity products where there's demand and it's not being met in the right way, or that you can offer a competitive product, and that's what we did.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it is not protected, right? So it's not,
Yeah,
there's no utility pattern, there's no design pattern. It's just like
right.
some generic products everyone can just manufacture it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think if you really want to protect your products, and I think trying to get the utility pattern or design pattern which is more productive.
Yeah,
And then if you're not doing that, then I think we should have expectation, someone else gonna take the market,
yeah. Well, I
right?
think that this company did file for a design patent. I don't know that they're
Mm-hmm.
going to get it because it's too generic, from my understanding from
Yeah.
our attorney. They also got denied on their trademark.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing what they can, but the product,
Yeah, I think
you can't protect a game system, and it's too generic of a design.
yeah,
So that's probably the issue.
or like we should consult the attorney first, and if you really want to protect the product, and then don't
That's a
want
good
other
point.
seller to
Yeah,
sell, right?
yeah. You should do something unique enough that you can protect. If you're going to spend a lot of money and you want it easily identified as yours and you
Mm-hmm.
want to avoid. We had a similar situation with another one of our products where we
Mm-hmm.
found out that there's a design patent. I won't name the product, but basically someone had filed where they have rounded edges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes straight, but it's rounded corners. And a bunch of the competitors, therefore, came in with squared corners, right? And I thought to myself, well, I don't want to be one of the 20 guys with squared corners, and I think rounded looks good. So we actually filed our own design patent on a complete round. So like the whole end is round, and now
Mm-hmm.
we own that. But if we had been the original guy that had done the rounded corners, you need to be thinking along the lines, how else can I be disrupted? And also thought about doing both, getting the rounded, whole side rounded, so that way you're creating a moat, right, of different angles and different protections, and you have to be thinking of filing multiple design patents, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like if you want to play the game, win the game on Amazon nowadays, and then we have to really invest in legal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
which
our
might
legal
not.
bills from this are going to be quite high, I imagine. So we haven't even looked at the bill yet.
Yeah, yeah. I think we should set up a proper expectation for that. If you like really want to get into the uh, merchant world, and the legal is uh, um, the area that we have to invest in, and otherwise it's not a sustainable business,
Yeah,
right?
it's very difficult to
Uh,
maintain an advantage based on reviews or keywords only.
mm-hmm.
Everything is being disrupted very quickly, especially with AI designs, right? Like
Yeah.
we're able to displace listings with thousands of
Okay.
reviews because of that.
Or we have to just constantly like innovate, right? if
Constantly. Yeah.
if you think your design or is not enough to protect you, and someone can just make a little bit change and then take a market share, and then what you're going to do is just like doing a next product
Mm-hmm.
that's unique in the market. It just, and then it's the next one. So
Mm-hmm.
just, there's no way we can thinking about, okay, we have a product and then they can sell in your entire life. You cannot make money for one product for your entire life.
No.
So that is the right mindset we should have, right?
Yeah. And this is what I even said in London when we spoke at Seller Sessions Live. I said, you have to be thinking about disrupting yourself. So go back to your main listings, because someone out there right now is thinking about how to disrupt your product. And if you don't beat them and have the next 2 or 3 generations of your product planned, then you're going to be beat at some point, I think. And IP is a great way to protect that, so you don't have to constantly chase that. But if you can't do IP, then you need to be thinking about disruption.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have a lot more lessons to learn besides like what departments do what, how to approach product development,
Yeah.
IP.
So that is first lesson we learned is like we had to really invest on like a legal
Yeah.
for the product. And
Right.
I think another lesson we learned is like how Amazon works internally, right? So this type of things we fully didn't understand quite about their logic.
Right.
And before, because all we do is just open the case and talk to the seller assistants, and we didn't talk to anyone high up and how they made their decision.
Right.
Right. So I think what we feel like right now is they just want to eliminate the risk of the platform, right? So they just shut down your account first and then do an investigation. And
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that um, I think for the case like this, and they're supposed to just do it at a skill level instead of the account level,
Yeah.
right? So we still like have not figured out why they close the whole account if just for one skill.
My understanding is that we were taking too long and our health score had fallen too low for too long of a period of time. There's a process. There's a threshold.
Okay.
So we were fighting for one SKU. Like there are 3 variations, 3 different listings. One listing went down immediately. The other 2 were up. They didn't like the answer on one of them. It went away. That one was shut down. But overall, because of these 3 things on our account, our score went from 1,000 for the first time ever. It was below 1,000 to 0. And with your account being below a certain number or at 0 for a certain number of days, your account goes down. So my understanding is that one department with one process was responsible for that. The other people were still trying to work it on the back end. We were still working through the appeals process, and escalating to different departments. But understanding which department is which, between legal, between seller performance, between account health, who to talk to about what they can do and what they can't do is super important. So we definitely need to organize those thoughts and help everybody else that's out there that's watching this, that and in our community to learn from it.
Yeah, another feedback that we get from some internal high up person saying like we're not doing any action that they see, right? So let's say, hey, if they if they see us like remove the product like old package out, and maybe the story will be very different because they see you did some
Right.
You have some action. But we do taking some action by contact our attorneys, and our attorney contact their attorneys, right? And then they agreed that we can sell through the product because they don't have the trademark for the generic word.
Right.
But this type of things like an Amazon person, they didn't know that. So all they know is they see your account activity, right? So if
we should have, well, that's another thing. We should have we should have had them sign an agreement to that effect. Like we're agreeing, we didn't want to necessarily be bound to it, but at the same time, it hurt us.
Send the emails and with the case, but we're not doing that during that time.
So if eventually because at the beginning we were fighting the fact that we didn't even need to protect against this because we were in the right. Like they were pointing at a logo saying we were selling a counterfeit good, but we weren't using that logo, and it's our product. So it didn't make sense on the foundational level. But at the same time, we needed to take a step back and think about what they're thinking. And so even though we're right, fighting the fact that we're right, we should have also said, well, also, we're not using that word to begin with because we had these things happen in the past. And we didn't properly lay out the steps that were taken from the previous case with the same person.
Yeah.
That we won that case. We contacted them, and we were in agreement together that we were going to sell through that old inventory and change the packaging. And we didn't lay that out properly, at least quickly enough.
Yeah. So what I understand in like an Amazon's decision-making process is like they allowed you to make mistakes, but you have to admit it and taking action for it, right? So we have so once these things happen again, and then you have to prove and you already take the action before, and which we probably did a good job to provide evidence. We do
Right.
take an
Well, because
action.
they didn't see any
Yeah,
action
exactly. They
because
didn't
the
see.
inventory stayed in until we sold out and we sent new inventory in. So as of February, we had
Mm-hmm.
changed the packaging. New inventory has been in going in since, March or April.
Yeah.
So we didn't, as a matter of fact, it came down to a bin check. They went and checked our inventory to show that it was the new
Yeah, and then they
packaging.
confirm we do taking some action.
Right.
Yeah.
But which is still ridiculous because we shouldn't have to,
Yeah, if
but they
we
don't care about that.
yeah, if we submit our appeal and with all the conversation that we have and from our attorney to their attorney and the things that we're doing, I think the case can be different, right?
But here's the problem also though is with the Amazon platform itself is that they didn't want that appeal plan of action or evidence. They wanted an authorization letter from the person who complained saying that we have the right to sell this product, their product,
Yeah,
because
so
they were claiming that we were selling their product, not our own product.
yeah, because they're already and judge you are infringing. So
Yeah.
so I think that is the most confusing part.
Right.
It's kind of like there's no way we can communicate, right? So they have their own logic, and then they say this is what I need, and then they're just not listening to what the seller said.
So it felt
And
like the only way to communicate was to escalate to people that are
yeah,
higher ups in different departments.
yeah,
Whether it's seller performance, legal, or any type of executive that has the authority to tap the
yeah.
head of seller performance or legal. So
Otherwise, I feel like they just like bouncing your emails to a machine, and then they have some program and send you email back. It's not a human who actually made the decision and communicates.
right, yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
The whole process was very stressful, very very difficult. Well, I don't want to take up too much time. I think that it is great to have you and I in front of a camera together.
Yeah. Okay.
I,
Last part is to thank
yeah, we will.
Mary.
But first, I want to say, if anyone, this is a rare appearance. I think it's really good if everyone wants Jennifer to be in front of a camera more often. You should say more Jennifer in the comments because I think we need to drag her in front of the camera. She has so many great insights to share, and she's the inspiration and the leader of the brand's business and my best friend, and she's brilliant. Uh, Much smarter than I am. I always tell everyone, but
Not really.
but it's good to get you in front of a camera. So we need to make sure that happens more often. But a lot of people helped us get through this. First of all, the outpouring of support was overwhelming.
And how many private messages you received in the past 3 days?
Hundreds. It was just.
Yeah.
I have to say that it was absolutely extremely humbling to know that so many of you care about us and about our case, and it means a lot. So first of all, thank you for that. Really really shows and motivates us to continue to do what we do. um, we've built a lot of great relationships with a lot of great people, so we really do care about you, and it shows that you care about us too, so thank you so much for that. I know that very early on, like Chris McCabe offered to help and was helping us escalate to several of his contacts with, and then helped us write some actions. Lori, thank you for your connection. Yale, Kabili, and her team at Kabili Law, they helped us. Jeff, you know who you are. Thank you so much for all of your insights and help. Isabella for reaching out, and there's so many people, but the hundreds of people that reached out, that commented, that tagged people, that shared what we were going through. All of it was helpful because I know that at some point they must have been overwhelmed with who is this Brandon guy and why is every single senior person that works at Amazon getting personal contacts or getting favors called in, and it's been a rough couple days, a lot of sleepless nights. I mean, I was here at the office till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and just breaking down, not really knowing what to do. So thank you to everyone watching that helped, and for caring, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys and to helping you and continuing to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And because when the account is taken down, right? I'm really thinking about like if it's down forever and what our life will looks like, right? But I think I get into a conclusion is probably like we can be like even stronger, right? And then because we have all the people that's around us, and we know like we're doing something right, and with all the abilities that we learn and all the skills that we gain and from the journey, and I'm confident that if all the business is going down, then we can start from scratch and then build another maybe greater business, right? Like I so this is what I thought in the past 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's because it's not like a gambling money that we win and from one night. It is a business that we built in the past decades, and I think it's not the business itself. It is um, the skill set, capabilities, and the people that we build around us and bring us to um, this level. And I think we definitely have more room to grow. And I hope like all of you guys like can grow and with us, and we help each other and we motivate each other. And I think that's the purpose that we building up the community, right? So do you have any thought about that?
I'm just a little overwhelmed. I think absolutely. This also, we didn't talk about it, but we spoke about it privately about maybe we need to recalculate what the upside of growing a business too big is. Um, like the risk of having a large all of your eggs in one basket is too great.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we should have more brand, like move our brands into different accounts with different entities, and only bring them to such a certain size. And maybe there's an optimal size to operate under. So
Mm-hmm.
we
And
have
different channels as well, right? So
definitely multi-channel
yeah.
as well. Yeah. So there's a lot for us to think about, and I'm sure we'll share and talk about our journey and what we decide and why, and we're always open to learning from you guys as well. So
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to your feedback and seeing you at events.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we'll see you guys soon. So thank you.
Yeah, and I wish like an Amazon might change a little bit, because I think we do we do appreciate that they offer a lot of people, especially someone who does not have many money to start a business like Brandon and me, and to start an e-commerce business, and we can reach out to all the customers that probably gonna spending tons of money that if you're doing our own marketing to reach, and then they make the fulfillment and much easier. So I think like in all those things that we really appreciate Amazon, they offer that platform. But I think like um, maybe they can do a little bit better to like reduce the at least like reduce the risk
Yeah.
for the sellers, especially like us that we are working for like a decades to building up this business in one account, because we have confidence we are not doing anything um, not
Yeah.
compliance,
Right.
not compliant.
Right.
And then it's
Well,
like a really a surprise for us, and no can get shut down.
yeah, our idea
Um,
was with the margins getting smaller to perhaps grow beyond a point where we could be purchased by a strategic. So if we
mm-hmm,
could bring the account from 25 million to 100 million,
mm-hmm,
this opens this toy brand up to a much bigger acquisition that's
yeah,
based more on revenue and less on the margin. And maybe we have to rethink that strategy or that decision, because that would be way too risky for us given the current state of Amazon. But maybe we can be an agent for change, and continue to have these a lot of doors open, a lot of relationships were made,
mm-hmm,
and I think that we can use this
yeah.
opportunity to learn from it, and maybe help affect change.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have empathy about like at the Amazon side, right? And they um, doesn't want to take responsibility or like taking the risk, and for the
Right.
seller selling a counterfeit product, and if it is true, right? So they prefer to uh, close the seller account, and then they do the investigation, and then they for sure there's not issue, and they open it back again. um, but it's really the risk for the seller, right?
Right.
I think they can do something a little bit better about when they receive a complaint, and then certain information has to be provided, because the person that who's complaining, they just like write up very long emails and just complaining, there's no certain like an evidence. So maybe you can, Amazon, because we as a seller invest a lot on legal, and I think Amazon is a big company, can put like better legal team and actually take a look and put some
I wouldn't say better legal team. I said just more effective processes around the way they evaluate, because some of the senior
no,
legal
or like
reps helped us,
put
I think.
the legal team at the seller side, right? Not the other,
Right.
the
Review process and the ability empower them to make a decision, I think. There's an Apex program so we'll get into the lessons later when we actually talk about this, but there's an Apex program where you can challenge some issues around patents, but there's nothing for trademarks yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if they put that into place, maybe it'll make this faster or better. But the problem is that takes weeks. So at the very least, you're down for weeks. So people that use this and abuse these systems to weaponize these systems against sellers, that won't change, because it can kill a listing regardless in the future. So there has to be a faster way to make decisions. Luckily, we were down for a few weeks. We'll see what the results are to the long-term health of the 3 SKUs that were down. All of our listings luckily only down for a couple days, but I think now we have to get back to work and figure it out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like another sellers. It's not like Brandon have so many followers and then connections, and then we can make it like the process much faster, and then they probably gonna wait for a couple weeks, right? And then
I heard from personal stories, people commenting and people messaging me directly that they were down for months, like facing a similar situation.
Yeah, I think like that's not fair for the seller, and it's really discouraging the entrepreneur to trying to building a business, and especially like the building business, then by doing the right thing. So better
we're very lucky
process has yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad we were able to do this video together, and thank everybody, and thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, thank you everybody.
Bye bye.